The John Adams Archive. Caption by Ava Rodriguez. Title: Reforming the Criminal Justice System, A Call to Action. Date: January 29, 2043. Author: John Adams. Our criminal justice system is broken. It disproportionately harms marginalized and low-income communities, leading to mass incarceration and perpetuating cycles of poverty and inequality. We must reform the criminal justice system to prioritize rehabilitation and reducing recidivism rates. This includes investing in mental health resources, addiction treatment, and job training programs. We must also end the practice of mandatory minimum sentences and focus on restorative justice practices that promote healing and reconciliation. The grand jury system, in particular, is in dire need of reform. Currently, grand juries are run by prosecutors, who are responsible for presenting evidence to the jury. However, the prosecutor's goal is to secure an indictment, which can lead to a bias in the presentation of evidence. To ensure that no one's rights are being violated during grand jury proceedings, there should be an independent advocate present whose responsibility is to safeguard the principles of the Constitution. How can we trust our justice system if, when we are called to sit on a grand jury, it cannot trust us with all the evidence? It's time to demand transparency and fairness in our justice system, and to ensure that all individuals, regardless of their background, are treated with dignity and respect. We must also address the issue of police brutality and accountability. The current system for holding police officers accountable for their actions is broken. Too often, officers who abuse their power and use excessive force are not held to account for their actions. In cases where officers are investigated, they are often cleared of any wrongdoing, despite clear evidence of abuse. To ensure accountability, we need a system that is transparent, independent, and fair. Police officers who violate the law must be held accountable, and we must invest in community policing initiatives that prioritize building relationships between law enforcement and the marginalized and low-income communities they serve. This includes increasing the use of body cameras and dash cameras, providing training on de-escalation and implicit bias, and holding officers to a higher standard of conduct. We also need to reform the current system of police unions, which often protect officers who engage in misconduct. The use of qualified immunity, which shields officers from being held accountable for their actions, must be re-examined. Additionally, we need to ensure that there are independent investigations into all cases of police brutality, and that those investigations are conducted by individuals who are not affiliated with the police department. How can we trust our justice system if we can't trust our police? It's time for us to demand change from our elected officials and work towards a criminal justice system that truly serves all members of society. We must come together to fight for justice and equality for all, regardless of their race, income, or social status. Join protests and demonstrations in your community, contact your representatives and senators, and demand change. Educate yourself and others on the issues facing our criminal justice system and what we can do to create a more just and equitable society. Until justice prevails. John Adams.